Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We are in the topic today talking about how to lower your cortisol naturally. All right, so one of the first things I really want to talk about, emphasize, is recognizing your stress triggers. We all have stress triggers. For example, maybe driving to work, a certain route causes you a lot of stress because there's a lot of traffic lights or a lot of traffic. Maybe there's a certain boss that you really hate talking to because they're very difficult to talk to, and so that's what's increasing your stress. So these are all little things that we need to audit in our life, to really take control and help to lower our stress naturally. Okay, so that's one of the first things I want to talk about, and cover. And again, if you guys have any questions about anything, please leave them in the chat box below. I will do my best to answer them. This isn't medical advice. This is just things that I found to work for myself and for my patients, and this is just for educational purposes only. So the next thing is breathing. So most of us are terrible breathers. We breathe very short, and most of us don't take the proper deep breaths that we need to daily, which is important for various physiological functions. So learning how to breathe correctly will really help to lower your stress. So there's certain people and patients that I've had experiences with where they're having a panic attack and their hands will literally contract because they're just not getting in or retaining enough carbon dioxide. So sometimes what we do is just have patients breathe slowly or have them breathe into a paper bag if we have a paper bag, and that will help them to rebreathe carbon dioxide and help to relax the blood vessels and relax their muscles. So if you're a person that you feel like you have a lot of muscle spasms, you feel your hands kind of really contracting when you get really stressed out, more than likely the sign is you're not breathing properly. So learning how to breathe properly is super, super important. There's many breathing apps, breathing videos on YouTube that you can do on a daily basis. You don't need to do them for 20, 30 minutes. 1 minute is better than nothing. I personally do about 5 minutes every single day, before and after work, and that seems to help me tremendously. Okay, so that's the second thing I want to talk about. The third thing I want to talk about is taking micro breaks. Most of you just burn yourself to the ground. You don't take enough breaks throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and you're burning yourself to the ground. So learning how to audit your time and energy is super, super important to managing chronic stress. So if you want to master your stress and your cortisol levels, you need to learn how to take micro breaks. So learning, okay, I've done enough here. I can now take a break. And that helps to reset and recharge yourself. So sleeping is not enough anymore. We need to take breaks. So learning how to manage your time and energy and learning to schedule in some mini breaks is also important. Okay. The fourth thing, and one of the most important things, is nutrition. I know there's a lot of people out there right now advocating for keto, for fasting, for all this nonsense. But the truth of the matter is, guys, that your body requires fuel. And the only way to get that fuel is through food. And if you're not giving your body food as fuel, it's going to use your tissues, such as your muscle tissue, your skin. Those are the things that are going to go the quickest and the fastest because your body always needs a constant blood glucose level at all times. So getting proper nutrition throughout the day. Some people like to eat, 2 big meals a day. Some people like 3. Some people like having meals every 2 to 3 hours. That's perfectly fine. For myself and other patients, we found that trying to eat every 2 to 3 hours works best. That helps to stabilize blood sugar. That reduces insulin spikes and crashes, and we just feel cognitively better. We have more energy if we seem to be eating every 2 to 3 hours. So, and especially if you're a person that works in a very mentally demanding job, you're computer science, you work in medicine, whatever. Having enough food is vitally important. Okay. Actually, one of my coworkers yesterday, she started dieting, and she's going low carb. I found out later she's doing a super low carb. Excuse me. Her blood sugar dropped. Her blood sugar dropped during one of the shifts. We were so busy yesterday. We saw over 100 patients. Her blood sugar dropped. She started getting hot flashes, started sweating, trembling. Those are all classic signs of hypoglycemia, which means your blood sugar is dropping. So your body's going to increase cortisol, increase norepinephrine, and that's what's going to start breaking down your tissue, your muscle tissue, whatever tissue your body can break down, it will break down and use that as a fuel for energy. So that's what her body was going into yesterday. And she was also waiting way too long between meals. So she ate very early and ate again very late. So it was a long time without food, very mentally demanding. We're active, we're walking around a lot, we're thinking a lot. So that's another thing to take into consideration is how stressful your job and your life is, and plan accordingly with food. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about is, I kind of touched on this earlier, is using technology for stress management. So there's a bunch of apps out there like Headspace, Calm, that do a really good job of helping you manage your stress. If you don't know where to start, that's a good place to start. If you can't afford the apps or they're too expensive, YouTube also has a bunch of resources that you can use. You know, Andrew Huberman has his meditations, the yoga nidras, which I do almost every single day, which work really well for me. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that you guys can start using today for free to start feeling better. So that's one thing. Start utilizing technology to help you guys feel better. The sixth thing and the last thing I want to talk about is gratitude. Okay. Having gratitude is one of the most important things that we can have in our daily life to help lower stress. If we're not grateful for things, we're going to feel more stress because we're going to take things for granted. And so having a gratitude journal, waking up every single day, writing down at least 3 things of what you're grateful for is really going to set the tone for the day and really help you to feel better. If you don't want to write anything down on a piece of paper, you can always text or call someone and say, hey, you know what? I'm really grateful. Thank you for being in my life. Or just say it out loud. You can just say these things out loud. But practicing gratitude is life-changing. So these are just some tips, guys. There is a free guide I created below, going over some of the topics we talked about today. And there's some actionable tips you can take immediately to start feeling better. So if you guys find this stuff interesting and you want to learn more, download the link below. It's completely free. And leave the questions in the chat if you guys have any questions, and I can do my best to answer them for you. Take care, guys.